things are heating up on. During Thursday's episode of the hit ABC medical drama, Maggie Pierce, Kelly McCreary, received a surprise visit from both of her deceased mothers, her birth mother, Ellis Grey, Kate Burton, and her adoptive mother, Diane Pierce, LaTanya Richardson Jackson. Elsewhere, two romances leveled up. While Maggie, who was babysitting Meredith's, Ellen Pompeo, children while she escaped to a romantic getaway with new flame Nick Marsh, Scott Speedman, was battling the flu, she discovered a letter addressed to her that was hidden in an old box of her birth mother's things. "I have to admit that letter writing is my preferred form of communication," Ellis, who appeared in Maggie's dream, read from the letter. "You're able to say what you need to say without rude interruption or interference. There are things that I should probably say to you, Margaret and Therese. No time like the present. My recent diagnosis has forced me to think about my own mortality, the past, the mistakes." Ellis, who was also Meredith's mother, had an affair with Dr. Richard Webber back in the day, resulting in the birth of Maggie. Ellis died in season 3 after complications with Alzheimer's. "I got my desire to take care of people from my mother," she continued. "She was the quintessential housewife. Everything from my pleats to my A-line skirt had to be perfect. That wasn't enough for my father. He slept with all his secretaries. Even the married ones. My mother hated it, but clearly never enough to say a word. I swore I would never become someone's doormat. I would have never imagined you as the doormat type," said Maggie. "I wasn't. Who are you?" "This letter is for my daughter," said Ellis. "Where was I? I'd swear I'd never follow my mother's example. Well, that was short-lived. I ended up as Richard Webber's doormat. Oh, how I love that man, even the part of him that was married, because that meant I could never end up like my mother. I stopped doing what was expected of me after Richard, but started doing what was best for me," said Ellis. "I'm not judging you for giving me up, I just thought you were ashamed of me," said Maggie. After discovering that Ellis had a say in who her adoptive parents were, Maggie asked Ellis why she was never curious about her. "What do you want me to say?" asked Ellis. "That I wish it was different? That I wish that you, and Meredith, me and Richard could have been one big, happy family? That was a childish fantasy. It was never going to happen. You don't know how hard it was for me. I picked up the pieces and moved on, and I did it on my own. I made a decision and I stood by it. That decision not to see you, I do not regret one bit." Heartbroken by those words, Maggie then received a visit from her adoptive mother, Diane, whom she embraced with a hug. Shonda Rhimes says she rewrote the ending of A Good 8 times. Meanwhile, things between Amelia, Katerina Skorson, and her research partner, Dr. Kai Bartley, our fightmaster, began to heat up after they spent a steamy night together in Minnesota. "Why do you self-deprecate?" Kai inquired, shortly after the two slept together. "I guess it's become my shield of armor, my protection from totally loving every part of me," said Amelia. "I don't think I know all of who I am." "Well, I'm excited to get to know all of who you are," said Kai. "Me too," Amelia responded. The next morning, Amelia left Kite to return to her son in Seattle, but something tells us, this romance isn't over just yet. During Meredith's romantic weekend getaway with Nick, the two, who were interrupted by a surprise visit from Nick's niece, began discovering more about each other. When I'm falling in love, it scares me because I've done it very rarely in my life, Nick told Meredith, after an exhausting day of family drama. I just don't love the feeling of losing control. When you're falling in love? Meredith asked. Yeah, when I'm falling in love, said Nick, before kissing Meredith. Airs Thursdays at 9 p.m. EST on ABC.